Hello, thank you for clicking on my video. I am Beth Ann of Beth Ann Stamps. In this week's video, we are looking at an online exclusive set that was released this month. It's called Growth Takes Time. Every quarter of this year, Stampin' Up! Is releasing online exclusives. When you come into the homepage, you may see the section that says online exclusives, or if you go down to shop products and find online exclusives, it will take you in here. These will not be in any catalog. They are simply, as it states, online exclusives, and you can see those. We looked at one of the sets earlier this month. If you need to go back and look at one of mine, it was this bundle for Irresistible Blooms. And today we are looking at Growth Takes Time. I saw this set and really liked it, so I wanted to share it with you. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm pairing it with other designer series paper. Crafters, as we know, love supplies. So if you are a crafter, you have an abundance of supplies. So when I got this set, I started thinking, what designer series paper can I pair this with? And so one of the cards we're looking at has the Happy Forest Friends paper. Now I have cut these down to 6 by 6. So I pulled some out of this one, and the other one is called, I think it's Abigail Rose, and these are grays and browns. I also pulled some out of this paper to go with this stamp set. So I just think this is so pretty. Be patient, your time will come. Be gentle with yourself. Look how far you've come. Growth takes time. So the cards we're going to look at this week are very different from each other. This is my first card, and it is cut at that 5.5 by 11, scored at 4 1/4. On the inside, Growth Takes Time. This is the Happy Forest Friends paper. I pulled in that So Saffron and some Old Olive. So we're going to go ahead and make this card. So we already talked about the size of the card, and remember, all of the dimensions will be listed in the description below. So my inside is done and already stamped in soft suede cardstock. So my first piece of designer series paper is 5 1/4 by 4. And then I just really like this. It sort of reminded me of, you know, part of a tree, the rings on a tree. So this is, I think, 5.5 by 1 3/4. So I'm gonna attach this to the bottom half of my card. So when you're making cards and you're looking at that designer series paper, well, as this may have been designed to go with another suite in the catalog, they are so interchangeable. So just pick stuff that you like and go from there. So the next thing I did is I stamped my tree on basic white, and then I pulled in the framed florets dies, and I pulled in this one. I really liked how that looked. So I stamped this in soft suede, and then I went ahead and pre-colored it with the blends and Crumb Cake and Old Olive. But the other thing I want to do with this is I wanted to color the background a little on this to match. So I'm going to bring in my little mini blending brushes. And I have some So Saffron and some Old Olive. So I'm just going to pick up some So Saffron and just hit the top half of this with that yellow because it matches this background. And then some Old Olive across the bottom there. And then I'll just go back over with that yellow where the two are blending together. That was pretty simple. Let me So now I'm going to take this, I buried my paper under here, and I wanted to have a two-tone color, so I also took this same die and cut it out of the soft suede because I wanted the outer ring to be that different color. So I sort of make sure that this is where I want it, right? And so I'm going to glue this one down first. I'm going to put that on here. And then I'm going to put a little bit of glue here and put this ring around it. I liked that two-tone color to make that pop off the page. So just put that right around there. Come on, slide for me. Sometimes it wants to stretch a little. There we go. So I'm going to put this down on my card base, and then we'll talk about the sentiment. So let me get this lined up here. There we go. So then I wanted my sentiment, and so I stamped it, and then I punched it out with the Essentials punch. This was also available last month as part of a celebration item. But I thought I didn't want it stark white. I really wanted this to go still with that tree and that wood thing. So what I did was I put my crumb cake string on it. And so I wanted it to sort of have that wood look. So I simply took my stamp pad and just drug it over it. And that's how it gets that wood sort of look. And then we're going to pop this up, put some dimensionals on here, peel those off. Bring a little trash bucket over here. There we go. And then I'm just going to sort of put this on here. Now I did also want a bow, and so I do have a bow here that I'm going to add to the top. Get my glue dot if I can find them. Oh. And we'll put that right on top of there, and then I can trim off these strings. So there you go. Oh. Didn't stay. Let's try that again. There we go. So that's our first card. And you can do that drag method to sort of give it that old rustic wood look. So now let's take a look at our second card. It is totally different, where this one is colorful and has all that in. This is very monochromatic. Again, I'm pulling in that Abigail Rose Designer Series paper, and that is this one. Very pretty paper. So this one, I left the blank intentionally blank, the inside. Okay, back up, start over. I left the inside intentionally blank because you could make it for an anniversary, you could make it for a birthday, you could do all kinds of things with this card. So my base is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2 for that top folding portrait versus the landscape. And so my first layer is this smoky slate, and this is cut at the 5 1/4 by 4. And then I have another one from that set that still has that gray in it, and it has a little bit of crumb cake on these flowers. So I really liked that look. And then I wanted to do this one of look how far you've come, and start with a little seedling to the next tree until that full growth. So I am going to take these. This I believe is cut at 2 inches by 4 1/4. And remember, again, all the dimensions will be in the coordinating blog below. And so I just wanted to center these two on this piece. Come on. So there's the first one. And these are stamped in crumb cake ink. Then we're going to put this one here. And then I'm going to put this across the top of that other layer. Make that towards the top there. And then I'm going to put this down on my card base. You know what? I just noticed that's a tiny bit over there, so I'm going to try to trim that little tiny bit off. There we go. And then we'll lay this on here. I love monochromatic cards. Yep, I didn't get that very squared up. It's all right, we're gonna leave it. And then for the bigger square, I think these are 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. And again, like I said, it's all in the description below. And this is like 2 3/4. And again, I stamped this. I wanted it to be on point instead of flat. And then I cut a crumb cake base 1/4 inch larger. And put this one on here. And then I decided I wanted to put this one on with dimensionals since it's going to sit above those other two. So I will bring in some dimensionals here. I just think this is such a sweet set. My fingers are not working today. I know, lots of dimensionals, but if I'm gonna mail it, I don't want it to squish. Oh, got that one a little low. Let's see if I can move it up. Are you in the camp of lots of dimensionals or few dimensionals? I'm the lots of dimensionals. All right, so then I'm just going to, this will center with the size, so it'll go side to side, top to bottom. So I'm just gonna line that up down here at the bottom point and then side to side. There we go. And then for sentiment, I did stamp this. Look how far you've come in crumb cake on a piece of white. And then I glued that to a piece of crumb cake and just hand trimmed it around. And then really this could go anywhere. It could go in the middle. It could go on either side. I just ended up putting it down here. And how I did that is I ended up taking 2 dimensionals because of with this one popped up and layering those, and then a little bit of glue on this side where it's going to overlap, and there we go. So that's how I put that one on there. So pretty simple cards, again, allowing that designer series paper to really help build these cards. So always take a look at that paper stash that you have and the colors. I think both of these papers went beautifully with this stamp set. I hope you like them. Let me know in the comments below. Do you prefer the color or the monochromatic version? I'm really interested. So as always, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to watch my video. I truly appreciate it. And if you could give me a thumbs up, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And for all the dimensions, go ahead and go to the blog. And as always, have a great rest of your week. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.